Good morning, students. I hope you are well. Now, today we will continue from Coulomb's law, where we have studied regarding force between two charges. As you know, when there is no medium, that is vacuum or air, the force between two charges can be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q1 q2 upon r square. But when surrounding medium is not vacuum or air but some insulating material like glass, wax, paper, etc., then we can write force as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon only q1 q2 upon r square, where epsilon is absolute permittivity of material medium. We have a relation to express k, which is dielectric constant, epsilon upon epsilon naught, epsilon 0, or we can say epsilon is equal to k times epsilon naught, where k is called, as I told, dielectric constant or relative permittivity or specific inductive capacity. So we can also write in place of epsilon as epsilon 0 k, so the expression becomes F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 k q1 q2 upon r square. Force between two charged bodies decreases by a factor k if there is some dielectric medium is placed between charges. It is very important relation that we can compare Coulomb law and Newton's law of gravitation. If you see the expression for force, both are similar. One is for charges, other is for masses. So as we see, F is proportional to the product of charges upon square of distance between them, and here force is proportional to product of masses upon square of distance between them. If you write in the equal form, F is equal to capital G m1 m2 upon r square, where capital G is universal gravitational constant, and here we can say F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 or epsilon 0 k, depending upon whether there is dielectric medium or vacuum. So what we see here, Q plays the same role as M. Both are inverse square law, that is, they depend on the square of distance between them. So these are similarities between Newton's law of gravitation and Coulomb's law, but there are some differences also. Like Coulomb's law is always, it may be attractive or repulsive, but Newton's law of gravitation, the force is always attractive in nature, because mass is only one type. A charge can be either positive or negative, so depending upon, between positive it will be repulsive force, between negative it will be repulsive force, but when it's positive or negative charge it will be attractive force. So it may be attractive or repulsive, but gravitational law says that it will be always attractive. It does depend upon the medium, but Newton's law of gravitation, here the force does not depend upon the medium. The magnitude wise, this force, the Coulomb's force, electrostatic force, it is much stronger compared to the gravitational force. If we just compare numerically, electrostatic force between protons is 10 to the power 36 times the gravitational force between them. So when we calculate gravitational force and electrostatic force, here we keep the value of charges of the proton, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 Coulomb, and for calculating gravitational force we will keep the masses of proton. And if we compare the same thing for electrons, it comes electrostatic force between electrons 10 to the power 43 times the gravitational force of between them. So just numerically if we calculate, it is just kept like this. For electrons it is done. For charges 1.6, 2 electrons are there, so both will keep, and for their masses will keep like this: 6.67 10 to the power minus 11, which is the value of capital G, 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 square upon r square. If both are kept at the same distance, then we can compare like this. Now we come to discuss, since force is a vector quantity, so far we have discussed only the magnitude of the force, which is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 or epsilon 0 k q1 q2 upon square of distance between them. But how to express Coulomb's law in vector form? Here you can see two charges q1 and q2 are kept. Here q1 q2 are of opposite nature, so that they attract each other. So at A and B, charges q1 and q2 are kept. The force what they act on 1 due to 2 is expressed as F12, and on second due to 1 is expressed as F21. The directions are marked here, F12 and F21. If you take a point O with respect to which we write their position vectors. For A, it's a vector R1 and R2. So R2 minus R1 is expressed as R12 here. So F12 can be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q1 q2 upon r square. R12 cap, where R12 cap is a unit vector along BA, that means from B to A. This already we have discussed last year in class 11. Unit vector R12 cap is written as vector R12 divided by its magnitude. We can simply express R12 cap's modulus as simply R. So if we substitute here, we can express F12 as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q1 q2 upon r cube vector R12. If q1 q2 the product is greater than 0, that means both charges are either positive or negative, so that the product is positive, then the direction what I have shown here will be just opposite. That means force on q1 due to q2 will be repulsive and will be shown away from it. Similarly, force on 2 due to 1 will be also repulsive, it will be shown away from it. That is written here. Not here, means actually force on 1 is written and force on 2 due to 1 will be written like this, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q1 q2 upon r square r21. So in this diagram already I told both charges are of opposite nature, that is product q1 q2 is less than 0, that is negative. What more, we see that direction of F12 and F21 are opposite. It is because R12 cap is equal to R21 cap in magnitude but direction wise opposite, so we can write R12 is equal to minus R21. So from this it is very clear that the force acting on one charge due to the second charge is same as force acting on the second charge due to first charge, but opposite in direction. So it is similar to Newton's third law, that for every action there is opposite reaction. We also see that the direction of force is along the line joining the forces, so it is also called central forces. Now next we discuss about superposition principle. This is related to force acting on one charge due to many other charges. So first of all, we'll calculate, suppose there are many charges like q1, q2, q3, q4, and we want to calculate force on first charge q1 due to all other charges. So on 1 due to second, it is shown here. Similarly, force on 1 due to third, F13, force on 1 due to fourth, F14. So all these are vectors. So we have a net sum of force on 1, force acting on one body due to all others. So it is force 1 2, force 1 3, force on 1 due to 4, force on 1 due to 5. If there are many like that, there are n charges. We can write expression wise, as you know, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 is common for all. So here we can say between these two, q1 q2 upon distance between them is expressed as r12, so r12 square r12 cap plus q1 q3 upon r13 square r13 cap, and so on till the nth charges. Likewise, if we want to calculate force on second charge due to all other charges 1, 3 and 4 and all, that similarly we can say the sum of all. Here you need to understand that this force is not arithmetic sum or algebraic sum, it is vector sum. So each force has to be calculated numerically first of all with its vector, means its direction, and then added vectorially. That's all for today. Thank you.